What happens when two of the most popular Yeezy sneakers meet and make sweet, sweet sneaker love and squeeze out a chubby little Yeezy baby? Well, that's the Yeezy 700 V2. And there's some aspects to this shoe that really point to it being a conglomeration, a combination, a sweet love child of the two most iconic Yeezys in the world. So we're gonna cut this thing in half, run it through our test to really tell the full story of how this is truly the love child between these two sneakers. If you're like me, your life is pretty packed. You don't have a whole lot of time for things, and even your hobbies sometimes get sacrificed. And so when a wrench gets thrown in your daily routine, like a car accident, it throws everything off. And not just for that day, but for weeks and weeks at a time. And that's why it's important to know that Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices nationwide, 800 lawyers, 4,000 support staff, so they can get you taken care of and you can get back to your daily life. Because the last thing you want to do after a car accident is deal with all those issues and the legal aspects, the paperwork. And the cool thing about Morgan & Morgan is you can file a claim in 8 clicks or less and from the comfort of your own home, and they have the reputation to back it up. They've recovered over $13 billion for their clients, and most importantly, their fees are free unless they win your case. And there's no upfront fees. So if you're ever injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. All you have to do to get some more information is go to forthepeople.com or dial #law, that's #529. And thanks to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. So what is this shoe? Well, it's the Yeezy 700 V2 static color. They weighed 13.5 ounces. They retail for $300 and they were made in China. And the history of the shoes is kind of interesting, and I think it adds context to this whole story because in November 11th of 2017, the original 700 was released, the Wave Runner. We cut this in half, go watch that if you haven't seen it. And it was incredibly successful right out of the gate because it was right during that dad shoe trend. And it was a step away from the really sleek, almost primitive style of the 350. And it honestly helped start the dad shoe trend. And then in December 29th of 2018, almost a year later, that's when they dropped the V2. And it was also met with a lot of success and really re-emphasized and doubled down on that chunky dad shoe style. And then in 2019, they dropped 13 different drops of the 700 and 700 V2, which was a huge increase from the previous years of 2017 and 2018 that had 3 drops. So it seemed like the dad shoe trend was here to stay. So what is it about the V2 that makes it the chubby little baby Yeezy? Well, if we look at the upper, it combines the best attributes of both of these shoes. It takes the knit upper of the 350 and combines it with the leather paneling of the V1s. And so now you get this shoe that has the breathability and the flexibility and the slimness of the upper combined with the durability and the look of the 700 leather paneling. But how good is the leather? Well, we put the old cross-section lens on there, and it's actually pretty decent leather because this gray leather is more of a nubuck leather where they've sanded down the grain to give it that matte look. So technically it has the grain in it, which is a lot better than the suede that we saw in the V1s. But the white leather, not quite as good. It's still a highly finished leather, and there might be a little bit of grain left in there, but all in all, it's better leather than the vast majority of sneakers that we review. And that same idea is echoed on the inside of the shoe, because if you feel deep inside the shoe, you'll notice that it has the exact same lining reinforcement that the 350s have, but near the heel and around your ankle, it has the lining of the V1s. So once again, you get the combination of the breathability, the lightweight, plus the comfort around your foot. And we also did the breathability test on all 3, and you can clearly see that it sits right in the middle because it combines the best attributes of both of these shoes. And then if we look at the outsoles, this is where it becomes a lot more like the V1s because you pretty clearly see it's the exact same pattern, the exact same dual density outsole and foam cup sole as the V1s. It just doesn't have the same coloring. So we also wanted to test if there was any responsiveness difference between the two of them. So we did the bar drop test and both shoes performed about the same. They both bounced up about 7 inches. So I'm guessing on the inside, they're fairly similar. But we don't really know until we get it cut in half. So let's cut it in half, see if there's any differences, any similarities. That sweet chubby baby Yeezy shoe hybrid, is it just the upper, is it the outsole? Let's cut it in half and find out. All right, we got them cut in half, and consider subscribing to this channel because these Yeezy videos are sketchy. And we bought all these sneakers before the controversy, so now we're sitting on thousands of dollars of Yeezys that we're trying to recoup the cost through the YouTube algorithm, but they don't love certain words like Kanye, Yeezy, anti-Semitism, stuff like that. So help us out, like, subscribe, comment, all that other obnoxious stuff. So let's see what's inside. I really thought there's gonna be some differences on the inside, but not really any differences at all. They're the exact same sole construction as the V1s, identical, except for one little thing that might have gone unnoticed if we weren't directly comparing it to the 350s. But you'll notice that the lasting material isn't like the 700s, it's identical to the 350s. And so what that does is it actually increases the amount of foam fill underfoot, if that makes sense. Because of these little perforations, these holes, it allows that insole to flex a little bit more, allowing your foot to have more access to that squish. So after looking at everything, it seems like it really is the Lovechild of the 350 and the V1, which is really fun because we kind of planned this angle and we're like, oh, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. But once we started dissecting, we found out that it's not only was it the Lovechild on paper, but through the whole design, every single element is a clear combination of these two sneakers. With the 350 knit upper, the 700 leather, the 350 lasting board, the 700 outsole, the 350 breathability and comfort, and the 700 look and durability. And I honestly really enjoyed making this video because we're able to dig into every single detail and discover and try to get into the mindset and design process of this shoe. So hopefully now you have a stronger understanding of these shoes, not just from the perspective of hype and hearsay, but actual real world data and measurements and mostly scientific tests. So let me know what you guys think, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, which of these three is the best to you, and support this video because like I said, YouTube does not like this style of content and we can use your help, so thank you. See ya.